What's up, everybody? We back with another message, another video. Thank you to all my new subscribers and future new subscribers. You know we do nothing here without God because everything is spiritually led by God over here. We cover the world from a spiritual and physical aspect to get the raw, real, and uncut answers. So anything you hear, anything you see in these end times, may you test the spirits, aka take the words and visuals back to prayer with God, as there are many Decepticons running around in these end times sent from the enemy. Had that strong, close, and personal relationship with God. Good, great, awesome. And if you are somebody who's interested in that one-on-one conversation, we do that via Discord, and all that setup information and whatnot is in the description and pinned in the comments down below. Good, great, awesome. So, you guys, here we go again, because the Lord been telling me, he said, things are going to be manifesting back to back to back to back. I'm like, all right, Father, he wasn't playing, because that's all we've been doing over the past couple of days. So, you know how we do with this background, you guys. Always making sure you test the spirits for sure. So why was I standing downstairs, getting ready to do the workout that I do on a weekly, daily basis, quite often. So I get this notification on my phone that says White House on alert after 2 aviation incidents. So, God been just sending me a lot of things that he's talked to me about when they come and manifest. So why I opened the notification and I couldn't do nothing but step back because I seen 2 fighter jets in the air. I said, see, I cannot believe, I can't even make this up. The Lord, I had to screenshot this for y'all. I couldn't do nothing but step back and close my phone for a minute because I couldn't believe he actually sent that to me. Then, if I can show y'all, the Fox 2 news. So I was, after the workout, I said, okay, I'm upstairs. I come back downstairs, see the TV, the news section of what we talking about. And it was like at the very tail end of it. I said, that ain't nothing but time. And so the Lord really want me to speak about this. So let me explain to you guys the dream again. And I'll show you word for word what it was. But this is the background. You know how we do the background, the prior word, and then the event. All right. So this manifested in such a weird way. Not that how I expected it. So here's the deal. In the dream, I was in the New York area, pointing towards Philadelphia, and it was like that area, that line of DC, New York, Philadelphia, So I had told somebody, this other guy, I was like, hey, how do you get to this city in Philadelphia? And I pointed towards it because I could see the state, like the shape. And he goes, oh, don't go there because they be robbing you, So he was just telling me whatever that was. So that was just strange and odd. But then in the dream, I saw a news report of fighter jets in formation in the air in a mountainous area. So, in the dream, it looked like it was coming from Nevada and, those areas, the Rockies, mountainous type areas, if that makes sense. Kind of where like Area 51 and stuff is located. So there was a reason why the Lord showed me that. Because in the news, they didn't particularly come from there, but they came from a base. So the Lord was trying to tell me that it was coming from a base. And there was more to it than just what they were showing y'all, like from these bases and whatnot. It was something going on. So he was giving me kind of the full picture there. So when I click on the news, the video, why did I see these flying over mountains, like mountainous areas, rocky, mountainous looking areas? This literally looked just like the dream that I had. The news report from us in the dream looking upwards to see if we could see the fighter jets. So the plane made it to Long Island, I believe, turned around in that line where I would be standing in the dream, Philadelphia, going to, they said it crashed in Virginia or something like that. So the White House was on alert. Do you know that was just like, okay, that was it. When I seen the flight pattern, I said, this is what you was trying to tell me. And it just manifested in such a strange way that I didn't expect it to be that way. And that sometimes it's like that, y'all, you know, that God will show you something or tell you something and it manifests in a way you didn't actually expect it. Because I sure wasn't expecting it to manifest this way. But anyway, you know, that's just a little background. It's just I have to give y'all the story on how I received from the Lord, how literally this came to my phone and then I saw the news. So hopefully I can show y'all that too. But yeah, let's get into it. And then I seen planes flying, okay, in this next part of the dream. And there was a sister in Christ that brought this up. And God literally showed me this out of nowhere this morning. So I seen planes flying. I was stationed near New York, Philadelphia, like that area. But there were planes that were on the news. People were covering this on the news, or a woman was covering this. And it was like a lot of people were really nervous and scared by this. So the planes had not reached there just yet. But it seemed like, you know how when you pull up the map of the U.S., you see like the western side of the country. You get like places like Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, and Nevada, like that rocky but like grassy mountain looking area. Like that's what I saw on the map. And there were planes in formation that were over there. And I heard somebody tell me, you can't just go to that part of Philly, because I asked them, like, how do I get to this part of Philly for some reason? So you can't get to that part of Philly. You need a gun if you're going to go there, like I'm going to get mugged or something. So then I hear the Lord say crime. So I don't know how those planes being in that area and me being kind of near the New York and Philly area, how that ties into anything, you know? I don't know if the Lord is saying because there's crime, he's going to deal with it, or if people are going to see certain things regarding the formation of the planes. A lot of times he won't say certain things because he has plans within that, and he just doesn't reveal that because the enemy might be listening, because he's attacking real hard right now.
Developing story out of our nation's capital. Late this afternoon, the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area was rocked by a loud noise, a sonic boom from D.C. Air National Guard fighter jets. That boom could be heard and felt across the region and was captured on this doorbell camera. Those F-16s were scrambled to investigate an aircraft that was not responding as it flew over the D.C. area. The Air National Guard planes took off from Joint Base Andrews in Maryland. Around the same time, a small civilian jet aircraft crashed in the mountainous region of Southwest Virginia. One official tells ABC News they now know the pilot of that plane had passed out. Coincidentally, President Biden and his brother were golfing at Joint Base Andrews at the time. ABC's Jay O'Brien is tracking the developments and leads us off tonight from Washington, D.C.
Tonight, a U.S. official tells ABC News that two aviation incidents jolting the nation's capital tonight are connected. One, a piercing sonic boom heard over a large portion of the D.C. area and beyond, surprising residents. The other, the crash of a small civilian jet in rural Southwest Virginia. Tonight, a U.S. official tells ABC News that two D.C. Air National Guard F-16s were scrambled to investigate an unresponsive aircraft that was flying a strange flight path over the D.C. area and was not responding to radio communications. A U.S. official telling ABC News the pilot of the civilian aircraft was passed out and the aircraft crashed in a mountainous area near Montebello, Virginia around 3:30 p.m. local time.
One of an aircraft that has crashed with a total of 4 passengers.
Sources tell ABC News the White House and the Capitol both put on alert as radar tracked the unresponsive aircraft. The Secret Service also monitoring. The F-16s scrambling from Joint Base Andrews in Maryland, where President Biden was golfing this afternoon just 10 miles outside the Capitol. According to the FAA, the plane took off from a municipal airport in Northeast Tennessee, bound from MacArthur Airport on New York's Long Island. The flight path showing the plane never landed, instead turning right back around, headed south before crashing in Virginia. The F-16s scrambling at supersonic speeds, creating the sonic boom.
Really some harrowing moments there. Jay O'Brien joins us now live in Washington on this breaking story. Jay, what else are we learning?
Lindsay, NORAD confirming tonight that boom was created by jets going top speeds, trying to catch up with that aircraft, and that flares were also used to try to get the pilot's attention. Tonight, the FAA and the NTSB both investigating that Cessna crash, and D.C. officials saying that there is no threat to the public. Lindsay?
Jay, thank you. And we want to get straight to ABC News contributor Colonel Steve Ganyard. Steve, how does something like this happen?
Yeah, Lindsay, it appears to be a case of hypoxia. Hypoxia is when a loss of consciousness occurs when there's not enough oxygen in the cabin. So we know that this happened in the case of Payne Stewart tragically several years ago. The pressurization in the aircraft should keep enough oxygen in the cabin to stay alert and stay awake. In this case, it can happen insidiously, where you lose consciousness, you begin to feel tingling, you get a sense of euphoria, and it very, very slowly overcomes the people in the cabin. So very sad, but it does seem to be when the F-16 joined up, the pilot was passed out at the controls. Hypoxia is the most likely problem.